Discover, this is Daniela.
Hi, it's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to thank you for making me feel so special. I earned cash back on debit for my dinner party groceries.
That's great, but with Discover Cashback Debit, we give everyone cash back on everyday purchases. Anything else I can help you with?
Do you like asparagus and mushroom sorbet? I've got leftovers.
Introducing Discover Cashback Debit, a checking account with cash back. It pays to Discover. Eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashback debit. Discover Bank, member FDIC.
I heartily endorse this event or product.
Say, kids, what time is it?
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Jeff Lutz.
Soak it in, boys and girls.
I know, so weird, but you know the heart wants what the heart wants.
And Jason Duda.
Soak it in.
Stop it! You people are supposed to be funny and wacky.
97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Showtime. Are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready? Ready.
Good afternoon and welcome. It is Bob and Jeff on KFH. Bob taking another day off. Wow.
It's crazy.
It's like he had heart surgery or something.
That's a terrible excuse, but...
I mean, it is what it is. Jason Duda is here. You're here.
I'm here.
That's about all we can say at this point.
That's it. It's all you got. It's all you get.
You told us...
have an enjoyable 2 hours.
You told us when you came in that you finally, for the first time ever, lost a bit of sleep last night.
Well...
What was eating at
but
you?
it was... Oh, it wasn't that I lost sleep.
Oh, come on.
Is that I was watching the end of Shoresy.
Well, the end of Shoresy, you can watch all of Shoresy in 2 hours.
Well, I watched the football game first.
Why?
Because I had guys in the football game
Who
for
cares?
some of my...
Just follow it online.
No, how boring is that?
How boring is Oakland,
How boring is
Detroit?
That? Well, when you got guys in it and you're going for it and there's moolah involved every week, yeah, you're interested. Uh-huh. Yeah, Jeff.
Not really.
Yeah, Jeff.
Not really. That's
Try
just
to play
awful.
in a league that's more than $5.
I
it.
guarantee you.
Try it.
I could have $5 million on it. I wouldn't watch the Raiders.
You are so, and if
Lions.
you had a guy on each side of the ball,
Couldn't care less.
Yeah, well then you're an idiot.
Couldn't care less. Who did you
You're
have?
an
That,
idiot.
Oh, it's so important. Well, I
St.
got Michael
Brown.
Meyer and I need him. So
St. Brown and Jacobs.
Great.
Well, now you got quiet.
No, who cares?
I cared.
I
cared. Just because you don't
was
care
you watching?
doesn't mean the rest of us.
Did you watching make a big impact on the game?
I could care less about the game. Could have cared less about the outcome. My point was I wanted to see if my guys are going to get me enough points to win the week.
I hope they didn't.
They did. Oh, that's too bad.
Have you ever lost this league? Like just embarrassed yourself?
Yes.
Good.
Just like 5 years ago.
That makes me
I
beyond
CMC.
elated.
I got the first pick, and it was the first time I didn't take wide receivers in my first 2 picks because I had the first pick overall, so I took McCaffrey, and he played, like 3 games that year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just took a beating. It's brutal.
Well.
Don't like it.
You did, do we have a caller?
We do.
No. I'm not ready for this. Who is it?
It's Josh. He wants to talk to you about football.
Josh, what?
Yeah, I was just wondering, you are a sports broadcaster and just, a guy that broadcasts sports to the city of Wichita, and you're not interested in the game.
Does Wichita care about the Raiders and the Lions? Is that something that you'd like us to break down?
I don't necessarily like you to break it down, but I mean, as a listener, it would be interesting to hear your perspective on the game and see your interest in it.
Because Detroit's pretty decent.
That's
Detroit's
never been our show. And by the way, the World Series is going on. And by the way, the NBA is going on, all of which I prefer over Raiders, Lions. Now, if you want to say, hey, you're a sports broadcaster, you don't have a life or another job or anything going on in your world, and we'd like you to watch all 3 of those, then go ahead and make that argument.
Whoa, salty much?
Oh, yeah, it's awful, Josh. It's terrible. Like, I walked in today, and this is the way he is. It's unbelievable trying to get anything through this guy's head because he only sees it one way, and that's the only way you're allowed to see it.
Don't be Bob. Don't be presented with facts and then go to salty. Oh, why are you so angry?
Well,
Make a point, Josh.
You were a little salty. I'm with Josh on this.
You could be with Josh.
Well, I am.
Thank you, Jason.
You're welcome, buddy.
I'll keep listening.
Happy days.
I hope he turns it.
He's not going to turn it because you know you're going to say something stupid here in the next.
Well, because I didn't watch
8 seconds.
Raiders Lions.
There you go.
This guy's
took 3
and
seconds.
I knew.
You knew what?
Once the phone rang, I knew it was going to be some dummy.
I don't think he was dumb at all.
I didn't say he was.
You're just mad.
I didn't say he
because
was.
He disagreed with what you said.
He
Why?
didn't. There was no disagreement. I didn't watch the Raiders and the Lions. There's no disagreement with that. That's fact. That's true.
That is true.
And for me, as a host in Wichita, Kansas, for me to not have watched Raiders Lions, that detracts nothing from the show that we do on a daily basis.
That's where you're going with this. That's where you're going to leave it?
Oh, here comes
what?
Another attack.
You don't know.
Oh, I know.
And if it is an attack, maybe you deserve it. So calm down. You know?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We got Max talking.
I can hear it's KU Pat.
It is KU Pat.
I can hear it through the phone.
And I hope he goes after you.
So my turn. So now it's my turn.
Well, we both
Except we're gonna have to wait because Max has to get his information for KU for this week from KU Pat.
That's
so
right,
the
I
intel.
do.
We'll
He's
have
mad
to
at
wait
me.
until he's done talking to Pat before he's gonna get to us.
He's telling me I've gone Duda.
KU Pat, the floor is yours.
Duda. I believe I heard you say, never, 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 ever again. You do realize, maybe you don't, KU's covered the spread 6 out of 8 weeks. Hey, they're ranked number 22 in the country. The 1 week you took KU and 8 confidence points, I would have advised you don't do that. Take Texas against KU. But what is it going to take? Do you think KU is still the team that was 1-11 and 2-10? What is it going to take? I'm trying to help you.
I know, but then where were you when I took him for 8? See, I get off the bandwagon for a little while, and I get hammered. I can't win with them. I can't.
A little while. You've taken them once. And that would have been the week I would have advised you don't take them against Texas.
Okay, what about this week, Pat?
It's tough, but I would take KU, but certainly very low confidence points.
It is tough. KU has been, despite covering 6 out of 8 weeks, they've been really tough to pick. And we should probably, both Jason and I, stop putting a lot of confidence points on them because the Oklahoma State loss threw me for a loop, and now they're playing really well. I think this is the team they are, the team that's ranked and looking really good and has a lot of pieces. That's probably who they are. But up until now, it's been pretty difficult.
Well, and look, KU needs Jalen Daniels back. I don't have a lot of faith in Jason Bean. I was shocked they came back and won the game. Obviously, deliriously happy, but I don't have faith in Jason Bean leading them forward. So I don't know if Daniels will be back. I do know Iowa State up at Ames has been a house of horrors for KU. And so I don't know what the spread is now. I know KU was a slight underdog. I would not criticize you if you took Iowa State this week.
Well, if you have noticed, though, my confidence points on all those games, except for the week I did take them, has been way down because I just don't know.
You have made there is some hope. I have noticed that.
I'll get there.
Anyway, you're a good sport, Jason.
Thanks, Pat.
Love you.
Happy days.
There you go. That balance everything out.
For what?
You got the animosity with Josh. I hope.
What?
Do people know?
Know what?
That I'm joking.
About what?
Everything.
You are?
Yeah, usually.
So you're not mad? You're mad? What's going on? Where are you at right now?
I'm not going to lose a wink of sleep over it. That's where I'm at.
No, well, why would you?
But when I'm doing the show, we're doing a show. We're having fun. We're taking some. We're getting some. It just is what it is.
It is.
It just is what it is. I don't think there's
agree.
much off limits around here.
No, I can attest for that.
There shouldn't be.
No, but he was correct in his call. That's just
What
where
did he
I'm at.
say?
Actually, he was just arguing with you, which I thoroughly.
So he was right.
I thoroughly enjoy.
Well, I mean, that's great. That's great for you.
I think it's fantastic.
And I had a thing yesterday too that was very similar.
With what?
Some guy on Facebook, and he's probably listening right now, and I'd love to hear from him.
What happened?
So the Pacers lost to the Bulls last night.
Okay.
Right?
Oh yeah, because they're your team.
I did. Yes, I watched the game. The Pacers played like absolute garbage. I got a Facebook message from a guy. It just said "Go Bulls" after the game.
What's wrong with that?
I don't like that. If you're going to do that, you need to message me before. Say, hey, our teams are playing tonight. Good luck, buddy. I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just say "Go Bulls."
Why not?
Because who does that?
That guy?
It's
and
not
probably
like I
some
was
others.
out there hating on the Bulls. I just wanted Indiana to win.
Indiana to win?
Yes.
Yeah, well, here's another.
Are you okay today?
No.
Pick it up.
Pick what up?
Like, have some energy. Have some enthusiasm.
Just stop. Let me get my coffee in me here, for crying out loud.
Well, let's go.
What do you mean, let's go?
We got 2 hours of this.
How much?
And Josh started it, and I like the way he started it. I'm happy that Josh called and got us going a little bit.
I do too. I like that. It's way better.
Yes. Good.
What,
grief.
did you want me to say something else?
I don't know. I'm just kind of watching you. I'm just kind of trying to figure out what's going on in your mind right now. It's very difficult to figure it out.
Good luck.
It's Halloween.
I was looking at some of the trades in the NFL is what I was doing. So.
Well, there have been some trades. Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yes.
Just got traded to your Detroit Lions. Do you have him? Next time the Lions are on TV, will you be eyeing him like a hawk?
No. I got St. Brown.
No one has Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Well.
Chase Young got traded to the 49ers. Did they need? I mean,
so did Sweat.
No, Sweat went to the Bears.
Well, I know, but he got traded. They traded their two.
Their
best two defensive players.
Why did the Commanders exist? What are they trying to do?
I don't know.
Like for the very first time in a decade, 20 years maybe, 2 decades. They're not really good, but they are on the cusp, right? They've got this new ownership group. They've got these defensive stalwarts. Their running game's okay. They've got some weapons in the receiving game. Their quarterback's not there yet, but you can remedy that. And they're just selling guys off. Do they care? I mean, what are the Commanders? What are they?
I don't know. Chase Young was the second overall pick, 4 years ago?
Yes, and he's actually pretty good.
And they traded him for a third rounder.
They don't want to pay those guys.
Well, that's the problem, right?
Isn't Howell putting up 300 yards a game?
Howell's okay.
He's been all right. I mean, for a young kid, he's doing fine. Give him a couple more years and see where he's at. I mean, it's tough to say that a guy coming out of college, it's right away. I mean, there's been a guy on this show who said Justin Fields was just spectacular and was going to be the man.
Well, here I've got one for
Justin
you. Justin
Fields is god awful.
He's not god awful.
He's 6-25, Jeff, and 31 starts.
Great.
Well, what do you mean he's not awful?
Here's my.
And 4 weeks
I've
ago,
got you on this.
You guys were telling
but
me Purdy was great. Purdy's never lost. He's in the great category. Are you kidding me? The guy played 10 games, and you're putting him in a great category?
Well, he had never lost. Were we saying anything wrong?
He's lost
Are
his
you
last
being Josh?
three.
Are you being Josh
He's lost
right now?
his last 3, Jeff. So is he still great?
I don't know. Is he?
What you and Bob?
You can
were
only
saying
be great if
great?
you're perfect.
That's what you and Bob were saying. He's great. He's in the great category.
He had been great at that point.
Had been. Oh, jeez.
Who says he's not still great just because he's lost?
He had been great. Dak Prescott's probably the best quarterback then in the league because he was great last weekend.
I don't think that's how it works.
Well, that's what you just said.
I think when you have a body of work,
you just said that.
And you take your team to the NFC Championship game that you probably would have won if you were healthy, and then started this year undefeated, and you're looking like the best team, and everyone thinks you're the best team. This is just the NFL, man. It changes in a heartbeat. That doesn't mean Brock Purdy's not good. It doesn't mean that someone necessarily surpassed him. It just is what it is, right?
No.
Their defense hasn't been as good. Their offense hasn't been as good. So we just blame one guy now?
When you're putting him in a great category, yeah.
I didn't put him in a great
you
category.
And your dad put him in a great category.
Was say that he hasn't lost.
And that he's got to be in the great category talk. Are you out of your mind? A guy that's played 10 games? That's ridiculous.
We'll never lose again.
We will never lose again.
So
dumb.
The only reason you were anti-Justin Fields is because he went to Ohio State. That's the only reason.
And I didn't think he was going to be that good. The guy played, 10, 11 college games?
So what
and
about
then you're going to
Stroud?
Well, he's been okay.
He's been good.
He's been okay. But I'm not going to say he's going to be great. Give these guys some time. You can't just say they're going to be great.
No, I didn't say he was going to be great. All I can do is judge somebody on what they've done, right? If they haven't done a lot, I can still only judge them by that output and that
You can
production.
judge them by that output, but you can't say that Brock Purdy is great or put him in the top 4 quarterbacks in the league.
So if a guy gets called
after
up
10
next
games.
year by the Blue Jays, some rookie, and he goes 10-0 with a 1.86 ERA, I can't start to think, hey, this guy, I don't know what he's going to be, but right now
could be, but he's not now. After 10 games,
I think you got to have a little greatness in you to go 10-0, even if it's not sustained.
Well, next time somebody comes up in the major leagues and goes 10-0, we'll revisit this because that's not going to happen.
That's my point. There's not going to be an NFL guy who does it either.
Oh,
especially the last pick of the draft, a guy who was his third option on his team and probably was never thought to be somebody who would even play in the NFL.
Well, that's probably true. There's no question about it.
So let's look at it relatively.
Well, what do you mean relatively? How can you,
the
how
fact
can you
that
3
we're
weeks
even
later
talking,
say, well, we're going to talk about this relatively now because I said this 3 weeks ago.
Let's put it in
perspective. And I just don't want to say that I said it 3 weeks ago.
Let's put
it in perspective. It's okay that you did. Just say you were wrong.
I'm not wrong. I will say this. I did think of a time recently when I was wrong.
What?
And it was when I thought I'd made a mistake, and it turned out that I hadn't.
Oh, jeez. Like, are you kidding? There was this one time when I was going to admit I was wrong, but then rechecked it, and I wasn't.
That's something, though, right?
No, it's not.
But if we're talking about Brock Purdy, even in that context, considering what he started as, then that says something already. It's not like, hey, he was the number one pick and we're judging him against other first rounders and elite guys. He was the last pick in the draft, got to be the starter, didn't lose, and then didn't lose some more. And that merits a conversation about his long-term viability or greatness.
After 10 games.
Yes.
I just disagree. We agree to disagree on this.
Then why even watch sports?
What do you mean?
What's the point of sports if you can't make judgments, early judgments? That's what sports is. Overreactions, knee-jerk stuff, immediate.
That's what sports is? It's
Yes.
not watching the game and seeing who wins?
Yeah, and then reacting
loses?
to it. And then reacting very strongly to it. That is exactly what sports is. And then reacting to a little bit bigger sample and then a bigger one. But if Brock Purdy loses 15 in a row, then we're having a different conversation. Right? So, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, let's wait 5 years and then see what a guy is, instead of saying right now, this is what this guy could be, this is what I see, this is a long-term.
Yeah, but don't you see that, and I'm not, this isn't like you or me, or this is just general media. Don't you think everybody just wants to say it so then they can say, well, I said this back before he started?
Probably, yeah.
So they say it about all these guys because then if they don't, they don't really have to retract it.
What is it?
You just talk about it again, then but you go back and say, yeah, well, if you look at my article from 2016, I said Josh Allen was going to be one of the best quarterbacks ever.
But how interesting?
Big deal.
How interesting is it to say, let's wait and see on everybody? No one wants that. That's not, again,
it's not that it's a wait and see where you're going to put a person when it comes to greatness. Are they going to be is he going to be a good player? Probably. Looks like he's going to be a good player. But when you're talking about greatness and you're putting them in the top with all these guys that have played for so long and done what they've done, I disagree.
Pencils have erasers, Jason.
Exactly. That's the problem. We could say what we want today, but we'll change our mind tomorrow.
Again,
Ridiculous.
I think that's what sports is.
I don't think it's that.
You don't root for a team, so you can't relate to having reactions and kind of going peaks and valleys, riding the wave a little bit. This is what sports is, okay? Josh said it when he called and agreed with me. Like, you're a sports guy, you're supposed to be, and this is what it is.
Now, how have you turned around Josh's phone call to say that he agrees with you? How have you done that within, 18 minutes? You've turned that whole conversation around to say that he's agreed with you.
That's just what I'm
utterly
getting. Ridiculous. You can take it how you want.
Take it how I want. What are you doing?
I think.
You think he's agreeing with you?
I think if given the chance to do his call over, he would now get on you for not embracing the spirit of sports. Yes.
I'm not embracing the spirit of sports now.
That's
man,
correct.
you are something. Man, to live in your world would be something.
I didn't watch Raiders, Lions. You don't like the spirit. You don't like sports.
You watched the third or fourth game of the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, and I'm going to watch the fourth game
out of 82.
And probably the fifth.
Yeah, okay.
Let's take a break.
World Series and Monday Nighter. You watched the Pacers' third game of the year.
I watched some of the World Series after the Pacers.
After the Pacers. So you didn't even watch the World Series, which you're a baseball guy.
I didn't. Yeah. We'll talk about that.
As long as you can admit it. You just admitted it. You better rack that one, Max.
Rack him. You've got Gary Guzman, the Maize football coach, at 2:45 today.
There we go.
We also will allegedly have a game at 3:25. Do you want to do it?
No, it's Tuesday. It's your game.
Yeah,
day.
but we.
Dude, if I'm on with you on Fridays, I have a game. That's how we did it for months.
Yeah, well, things have changed.
Again, here we go. Turn it around.
See, it's weird. It's weird that you're like that. Stay with us.
Weird that I'm like that.
Yeah, we'll
Don't
talk
you go
about
to break
we'll
after something like that.
Bob and Jeff on KFH. Stay with us.
.1240 KFH.
Welcome back. Bob and Jeff on KFH. Jason Duda is in for Bob today. We got covered artists, cover songs. The theme of the music this week. This is Manfred Mann's Earth Band with Blinded by the Light. Originally performed, Jason, by
Def Leppard.
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah,
you ever seen the movie Blinded by the Light?
So close. I'm going to get one of those one of these days. No.
Would you watch a movie about music? Have you watched a movie about music? Have you seen Almost Famous or the Queen biopic or Elton John or anything like that, or a concert film?
I think I watched something with my wife once.
I
don't know what it was called, though.
American Hot Wax is a good one, Jason.
Don't know it.
With the young Jay Leno and Fran Drescher.
Can't say I have any idea. No idea.
No idea.
None.
Okay.
Am I supposed to?
You sure you got coffee over there?
Yeah, it's gone.
You didn't go get more during the break?
I was too tired to get up.
Oh, this is great.
And
what are you gonna?
25-foot walk, so I can't. No.
It is a ways down.
It is a long ways.
You excited to have your football coach on the show, Gary Guzman, coming up next?
Big win.
Straight off of an upset victory over Goddard.
Absolutely. Be good to have a little conversation with the man
in the 5A playoffs. I will enjoy that too. Tonight is Halloween.
That's right. It is.
It is. It's October 31st. Is it Canadian Halloween too?
No, we do it on October 26th. It starts only from 2 to 4 in the afternoon.
Why do I almost believe you?
No, it's on the same day.
Well, that's good because you just had Canadian Thanksgiving not too long ago.
I did, like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
What did you do?
3 Mondays ago.
What did you do for that?
We used to do stuff. We didn't do anything the last couple of years.
That's too bad.
It's fine.
What will Halloween look like in your household?
Quiet. The kids are going to friends to do whatever they're going to do.
They're not trick-or-treating?
Well, no. I mean, Well, my son might, I guess, with his buddies. They might go for a little bit. But my she's going to be 17. So
My daughter
think
is 17, and she's going trick-or-treating.
I think she's past that. But I could be wrong.
Is she past it, or are you past it for her?
I don't care. It's their choice.
Really?
Well, why wouldn't it be?
I don't know. Do we need 17-year-olds out on the streets?
Probably not.
No, we don't. That's just one piece of candy that a child isn't getting.
They're going to watch movies at a friend's place, is what she's doing. So that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
Happy days. Enjoy.
I don't know. This is a point of contention in my house. Not
If it was up to me, I'd probably put a cap on it at like 12.
Right. That makes sense.
Up to the age of 12, then you're good.
Maybe 14. We're not trying to dampen anyone's childhood, but for crying out loud. Go dress up, go hang out at your friend. I mean, do whatever you want, but you don't need to be out taking candy from kids.
Exactly.
That's the kids' candy. That's their night. You had your time.
And you know what? If for those people that, you just leave some out and say take one or two, the 5-year-old's only going to take one or two. Guess what the 14-year-old's doing?
Taking it all.
Exactly.
I don't
Which is taken from the kids.
Exactly. I don't want that.
I don't either.
I don't want to be a part of that.
I totally agree. There, we finally agreed on something today.
We finally do agree.
Took half an hour, but we got there.
So we both watched Shoresy. We can talk about that briefly. Your thoughts on season 2 of Shoresy? One of the great shows in the history of television.
It was good. I don't know if it was quite as good as season 1, but season 1 was totally different. So
the time jump messed me up a little bit.
Time jump.
Yeah, they were going into the playoffs, right?
Right.
At the end of season 1. That's not where season 2 kind of picked up. It is sort of, but not really.
It picked up.
I thought they were going forward with that opening scene and then flashing back. But I didn't figure it out until later.
They just went to season 2.
In fact, I don't know that I figured it out at all.
What do you mean?
That opening scene was from the past. Right?
Yes.
We had passed that. I thought it was from the future, and we were rewinding the season to get to that point. I didn't figure it out until I started reading articles about season 2 and the reviews and stuff. So,
what were the reviews saying?
Oh, who cares? One, but also they were saying it's good, and that you didn't like it as much as season 1.
Oh, I did. I just thought if I'm going to pick a season, I'd pick season 1.
Yeah, probably.
But I will rewatch season 2 a few times.
Season 1, you picked season 1 because that was like a star in the night, right? It was like a shooting star.
Yeah, you weren't expecting to find it.
You absolutely were not.
And there it was.
And then once you know that it's going to show up, kind of like Josh's call, I knew that something was stirring there. Then it becomes a little bit more predictable. That's all.
And season 3 is already in the works.
Yeah.
Did you like the whole Canadian-American thing?
Yeah, it was fine.
Sue Michigan in the league now.
Sue Michigan, yeah, they were good.
In the no-show.
Yeah.
Why would Northern Ontario Senior Hockey Organization.
Why would Sue Michigan be in the no-show?
Maybe they were just looking to expand.
I guess so.
And it's probably pretty close. It's just across the border.
Man, I love that show.
It's awesome.
It's so good. Everything about it is like perfect.
It's good. It's just good. It's just a good show.
It's
especially
fantastic.
if you're a sports guy at all.
I'm trying to figure out.
Probably my favorite.
I'm trying to figure out where on my list. I've got a long list of things to talk about. What do you want to talk about? I've got college football coaches. They're unhinged.
Unhinged?
Yeah, they're unhinged.
About?
Dabo Sweeney. Did you hear his little rant?
No.
On a caller to his coach's show? I thought the caller was fine. I mean, you're going to get people like this. He's like, well, why do we pay you all this money to go 4-4? And, he was backing it up with, you used to be like this, and now it's like this. You used to be kind of a good guy. Now you're borderline arrogant, and it changed after you won the title in 2018. And then Dabo just went off on him. I wish you could have heard that. He was just ranting for 5 minutes about, there's no appreciation. And it used to be that there was appreciation before expectation. Now it's expectation before appreciation. Like, you expect us to just go out there. We've won 10 games 12 years in a row, and it's all this stuff. Well, who cares?
Obviously, the fans care.
Tyler cared.
and it's okay for them to have an opinion.
Yes. And Jim Harbaugh, he's not addressing the sign stealing stuff. And he's saying all these weird like turns of phrases. The people who think the people who think about us the most think the most of us. Shut up.
He's a different guy.
Why are college football coaches so weird? Like NFL coaches seem to have some balance. High school coaches, when we talk to Gary Guzman, just normal people, right?
Yeah.
College coaches, they get weird.
Why?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
Well, I don't know. I don't have the answer
Nick
to that.
Saban is kind of too much. Dabo, obviously, a little too much. And I'm not saying all of them. A lot of these guys are perfectly balanced individuals and, present themselves just
normally
fine.
Well, he's got himself in a spot where he just needs this to trail off for 2 months because he's going to be done. He's not going to want to deal with this after it's coming out. Michigan's got a good team. They'll probably be in the playoffs. So that's all he's worried about because then he's going to run off and probably go to the NFL.
Right.
I mean, we talked about that a few weeks ago because why wouldn't he?
Of course
It's a Pete Carroll scenario. It's the exact same thing. Nothing happened to Pete after he left USC and left all that carnage behind him. He just went to Seattle and nothing was ever said about it because he's not there anymore. The NFL, he did nothing wrong to the NFL or for the NFL, so there's nothing to be punished for.
I feel like a lot of these investigations are just for show at this point. I'm not saying Michigan won't be punished, but it won't matter, right?
Well, no, it never. When does it ever matter what these punishments that they hand down?
It doesn't. It only hurts the players that usually didn't do anything. It's not going to hurt Jim Harbaugh because he's going to be off somewhere else. It's just, I don't know. The NCAA, whoever is going to end up kind of handing down a quote-unquote punishment, they're always pretty soft to me. We saw it with KU. Not that they deserved more, but these investigations, they take forever, and then nothing comes of them.
Well, I think the NCAA at some point has realized now they don't have as much power as they used to or thought they had, right?
I suppose.
You got the NIL, which they did not want.
The power is in the conferences now.
That's exactly it. So they're just kind of there as are they? Do you call them a governing body? Is that
It's hard to see
what
the governing that they do.
Exactly. So what are they other than running March Madness?
I don't know.
Whatever. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't know what the NCAA is supposed to do.
I don't know what they do now. I honest to God, sitting here today, really not sure what they're doing.
It's at least in the big two sports, men's basketball and football.
Yes.
I'm sure in the other sports that they have whatever presence they have, and it's all
what
great.
presence? Do you ever hear about any other sports besides these two in the NCAA?
Not really.
Nothing. You don't.
I mean,
basketball, football,
occasionally
99% of it.
Not saying. I mean, softball has gotten pretty popular. Volleyball.
Oh, I'm not saying the other sports aren't popular. I'm not going there. But what I'm saying is, when you see the NCAA that are investigating something, it always seems to be around basketball or football, right?
Yes, because that's where the most stakes are. That's where the most money is. That's that's where coaches really are worried about their future the most. You got to hold on to those jobs.
Well, of course. For some people, you have to. Some other ones, like Harbaugh, he's going to get paid from there. He's going to leave. He's going to get paid in the NFL.
That's pretty much how it works.
That's what's going to happen.
Harbaugh probably has more money than he
probably
needs
does
at this
I'm
point
pretty
anyway.
sure he's probably doing okay.
Maybe he'll just walk away, go live in a cave somewhere. That seems like the kind of thing Jim Harbaugh would do. Just go live off the grid. Although he's so look at me and wants to be recognized, and he wants people to think that he's always a step ahead of them. He's one of those guys that thinks he's the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Don't like those guys.
Well, I've never been a fan of his myself. But he
used to have some personality back when he played. And he was in the Smack Off once. Jim Harbaugh was in the Smack Off.
Why?
Because that's what the kind of guy he was. He had a good relationship with Jim Rome, and he was fun and interesting, and somewhere along the way he stopped being those things. It was one of the worst smack-off calls ever, but he was still in.
Well, good for him, I guess. Good for him. But go back to your question, why are these college coaches losing their minds? Maybe they're just tired.
I'm sure they are.
You got to deal with NIL money now. You're dealing with the transfer portal and how many guys of this team am I going to have back and where am I going to find more? I can't go get a high school kid because if someone says, no, you're not allowed to sit there, can you sit one seat over? Well, I didn't like the way I was treated, so I'm going to the transfer portal. I mean, they got a lot of crap on their plate.
85% of it probably has nothing to do with football.
At least 85%.
I'm sure it's exhausting.
It's exhausting talking about it.
You've been exhausted from day one, from the jump on this show today.
I know.
I'm trying to do something that's going to get you out of your shell a little bit. Get you fired up.
Figure it out then.
I've tried. I've been trying for 40 minutes.
Put in a better effort. Crying out loud.
I mean, I've been trying.
No, you haven't.
I have.
Well, fine.
Get it together, man.
I will. Don't worry about me.
I'm worried.
Don't worry.
Okay. I could get into that, but we'll save it for later. Let's
just not save it at all.
Let's go to the IHOP hotline, brought to you by IHOP, now serving pumpkin spice pancake combo. 2 pumpkin spice pancakes made with real pumpkin and seasonal spices, crowned with creamy whipped toppings, served with 2 bacon strips or 2 pork sausage links, 2 eggs, and hash browns. Crazy. And let's talk to Gary Guzman, the head football coach at Maize High School. Gary, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you guys doing?
We are doing well also. So you're into the second round of the playoffs. You pulled an upset, on paper at least, over Goddard last week. You've been playing a lot better over the last month or so. I know you've had a lot of injuries. So what did that win mean to you and the team?
Obviously, it was a great win for us. And, we have been playing a lot better. We had some kids return from injuries. Our quarterback came back from an injury. We had a couple defensive players that were also back from their injuries, so that made us a better team. And I think our young kids are starting to grow up a little bit and figure things out. So hopefully we can continue doing some good things.
Well, Coach, and it's also got to be a little different too when you lost some key players from last year. Obviously, Avery Johnson, who's was a big part of your team for the last couple of years. Guy that's going into the college and scoring 5 touchdowns in a game and trying to replace that's got to be difficult. Do you think that maybe that might have been one of the reasons for a little bit of a slow start to the season for you as well, just to get everybody on page again?
Oh, absolutely. We lost one of the best group of seniors that I've ever had the opportunity to coach, and obviously Avery Johnson was a major part of that, and he seems to be doing pretty good at the next level right now. So it was a slow start for us, and I think a lot of it did have to do with replacing so many starters, and like I said, we got some young kids that were thrown into the fire, and now are starting to figure things out and starting to play well. So it's been tough, but it's been fun this last few games when our kids are again starting to play well.
Talking with Maize coach Gary Guzman. Maize has Liberal on the road coming up this Friday. So, did it start maybe with that Derby game where you really hung in? That was the game, I believe, was at Riverfront Stadium. You really kind of hung with Derby. Was that kind of the game where it started to turn and maybe you kind of started to think this team had a little bit more potential than it had showed previously?
Yeah, it was the Derby game. It was the game after the Riverfront Stadium game.
That's right.
South. Yeah, we played Maize South at Riverfront, and that was a tough game for us. And I think after that we rebounded pretty well and had Derby here at our place, and I think we're at 21-7 at one point, and I think they tied it right before half and ended up beating us by a couple touchdowns. But I think our kids felt like at that point that they could play with the good teams, and ever since it's been looking pretty good for us.
Well, Coach, obviously going into Liberal, what do you know about them? Have you been watching some tape? Do you showing the kids tape? What's your preparation this week for Liberal?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got film on them. They look good. They look good. They have they like throwing the football. They throw the football, and they've got a quarterback that is outstanding. In our view, he's He's very good, and they got a receiver. Well, they got several receivers that also are doing well, and one that they like to go to quite a bit. And their running backs are good. They're big up front. I think they average around 250 up front. So offensively, they're very good. Defensively, they also do a good job, and I mean they're a solid team. They're 8-1 and definitely look like an 8-1 team.
Gary Guzman, our guest, head football coach at Maize High School. So tell us about some of your players. Like you said, you got a lot of kids back from injury recently. Who's been kind of leading the charge for you, and that you expect to do that as you get into the playoffs some more?
Well, I think our offensive line. Obviously, it always starts with those guys up front, and I think that our offensive line is just continuing to get better, and probably led by one of our seniors, Coach Shalasari, does an outstanding job for us on the line and also as a leader. So he's really stepped his game up and has really pushed the younger guys to get things figured out. So he's been offensively, he's probably been the one that has really helped us. And like I said, our offensive line probably, I would say offensively, that's where we're getting probably the most success from. Obviously, we've got some good receivers too, and our quarterbacks are doing a good job. Our running backs are doing a good job. So they all get credit, but I think ultimately it goes with the offensive line. We got Bryson Hayes at the wide receiver. Jaden Martin, wide receiver. That are both doing a really good job for us. Defensively, we got the two young men that came back from their injuries. Christian Hansen, one of our senior D lineman, linebacker type guys, and also Keaton Crockett, also D lineman / linebacker. They're both back, and they both have made us a better team. Our starting linebacker, Aiden Flores, just consistently does a great job for us. And all three of those seniors, along with our defensive back, senior defensive back, CJ Felder, those four guys, those four seniors are the ones that I would give credit to for helping our defense do the things that they've been doing lately. And so I give a lot of credit to our seniors. We don't have a lot of them, but the ones that we do have done a great job for us. And they're stepping up. They're leading us. They don't want the season to end. So they're doing all they can to help us survive.
So what do you think about when you look at this West bracket? If you have looked far ahead, not that it's easy, of course, by any stretch of the imagination. Every team that's left besides you and Great Bend is either 8-1 or 7-2. But I won't put words in your mouth, but Liberal seems like a relatively winnable game, perhaps. Eisenhower and then Hayes against Hayes. You'd get the winner of that if you won this one. So, like I said, not easy at all. So what do you think when you look at the bracket?
I try not to look past the next opponent. I think every coach will tell you that. We're focusing on Liberal right now. We're going to have our hands full, and we're hoping to go in there and get the job done before we can even start thinking about who's left in the bracket or who the next possible opponent's going to be or whatever. We got to take one game at a time and hope again that we can go in there and do a good job and do well enough to advance. And once we advance, we'll be excited about the next one.
Coach, just curious on your thoughts before the season started, where you thought you would be. Obviously, with losing as many guys as you lost last year, going into this season, is this kind of what you thought, or were you expecting a little more, or do you think maybe after getting this win and seeing what happens up in Liberal, then you'll kind of put that into perspective a little bit more?
It's just one of those things that you as a coach, you're always optimistic and you're hoping that that the kids you've got are going to be able to get it done. I knew that losing all those seniors last year, I knew that it was going to be a tough job. But I still felt optimistic. I still felt like we had enough talent to have success, and I think now we're starting to see it. So, unfortunately, it took a while for us to get it figured out, and of course, experiencing those injuries early on didn't help us. So we were struggling with injuries, penalties, and again, a lot of those penalties came from just young kids making mistakes out there. So we had to face a lot of adversity and overcome a lot of adversity. And I think our kids now are starting to settle in and play the game the way that we were hoping that they would be able to play it early on.
Talking with Maize football coach Gary Guzman. Before we let you go, we mentioned Avery Johnson. Have you stayed in contact with him? Have you gone and seen him play at all? And what do you think when you see what he's already doing at Kansas State?
Well, it's pretty amazing what he's done at K-State already. When he scores 5 touchdowns in one game, and you see him just doing the same types of things that he did in high school. It's pretty amazing that he's doing that at the next level. But yeah, I've had an opportunity to stay in touch with him, and also had a chance to go to a couple of his games already, and I'm hoping to make a few more this season. So very proud of him. He's doing what we thought he could do. Obviously, sometimes you just don't know how what they do at the high school level is going to transfer to the college level. But apparently, he's had no problem with that transition.
No question. We appreciate it, Coach. Congratulations on your first round win in the playoffs. I know you got a tough one later this week at Liberal. Good luck.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Feel good? That's your coach.
There he goes.
You going to head over to Liberal for that game on Friday?
I should have asked if I could have got a field pass.
Right? Weather's supposed to be pretty good
We
Friday.
might have to call him back, see if we can do that. I got a better chance of him not shutting me down over the radio waves than I do if I just give him a call.
That 5A
Mind you, there's probably a good chance that he doesn't want me to have his number.
Yeah, you're probably right about
That's
that.
probably true. We'll
I'm not
just
even
let her
sure.
go.
I doubt he wants me to have it.
Well, I know he doesn't want you to have it. At least my kids go to Maize, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
The west side of the 5A bracket, Capon and Great Bend. That game's going to be at Southeast on Friday. Then you have Maize South and Hutch. Both those teams are 7-2. Goddard Eisenhower, which lost its only game of the season a couple weeks ago against Goddard, and Hayes, and then Liberal and Maize. Will we see Willie Mays Hayes in round 3?
Maybe. Who would they play if they win?
Eisenhower or Hayes?
Eisenhower or Hayes.
I think Maize beats Liberal.
Well, like you said, when you're battling injuries, and especially at the high school level, if you've lost 3 or 4 pretty solid players, that's tough to rebound from. So if they've got
a lot coming back though.
So if they got them coming back, and they got them, it's going to be, their team's going to be different. At the high school level, 4 really good players is a big difference to any team. So maybe they're in the right spot. I'm pulling for them. Obviously, I'm pulling for them. I mean, why wouldn't I? So
of course
we'll see what happens.
We got
up
to
in
pull
Liberal
for them. They're the area team. It's not like they're playing Derby.
No, exactly.
You got to choose. They're playing.
No, this is easy.
They're playing whoever they're playing. Liberal.
It'd be easy for me either way. But I think I agree with you. They got a more than better chance to be in that game and see what happens in the fourth quarter.
Here's Liberal. Liberal beat Holcomb, which finished 7-2, Emporia 0-9, Topeka 1-8, Dodge City 3-6, Garden City 5-4, Great Bend 6-3. They won those last 2 games by a touchdown. They lost to Hayes, beat 0-9 Ulysses, and beat 3-6 Newton. They've beaten a lot of bad teams. They've beaten a couple good ones, but Maize could get them. Is what I'm saying.
Well, they got Goddard, and they weren't supposed to get them. So yeah, go get them, Eagles.
That's what I'm saying.
Giddy up,
Eagles.
Happy days.
All right, we'll come back. We'll do hour number 2 of Bob and Jeff. If you want to call, we'd love that.
Yeah, because Jeff's in a great mood today.
I am in a pretty good mood. I appreciate you noticing.
Yeah,
869-1240. That is the IHOP hotline. We'd love to hear from you. We heard from a caller off the air who thought we were going to physically fight.
We did.
So stay tuned maybe for that.
That could happen.
It's always possible.
Always possible.
But either way, stay tuned.
Any day in here.
For hour number 2. We'll be back.
Selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
As easy as pie?
Sure. All you have to do is enter your license plate or VIN.
As easy as a stroll in the park.
Okay, then just answer a few questions and you'll get a real offer in seconds.
As easy as singing.
Why not? Schedule a pickup or drop off and Carvana will pay you that amount right on the spot.
As easy as playing guitar.
Actually, I find that kind of difficult. But selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
Can be.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get an instant offer today.